I never knew how I felt about Elton's cover of this, Chris. I just always thought it was only what, like 8 years after the original came out. Why cover it so soon? It's good, and it's the last time John Lennon ever performed on stage at Madison Square Garden was to come on with Elton on Thanksgiving Day and sing this song with him. But Elton's Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds hit number one in the U.S. on this date in 1975. And my interns tell me 1975 is now 48 years ago. Jesus. The Beatles' original never charted because it was never released as a single from the Pepper album. I'm John Fugelsang. This is SiriusXM Progress. We're at 866-997-4748. And today's another important day in Broadway history. It was 41 years ago tonight on Broadway that the Broadway show Frankenstein opened and closed on the same exact night and lost an estimated $2 million, which is big now and was even bigger in 1981. And there's more shows closing on Broadway. For more, let's go to our comedy daddy, the great Keith Price, comedian, actor, writer, broadcaster. Keith was the first openly gay black radio host at SiriusXM. He co-anchored the morning show on the OutQ channel, and catch his wonderful Broadway podcast, Keith Price's Curtain Call. Comedy daddy, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, John. Happy New Year, everybody. I'm so glad to be back. This is my first stop of the new year. It's very nice. I love it.
Nice to see you. Nice to see you.
Oh
Did you
my
have a nice
God.
holiday, Keith? Did you have a nice time?
I had a good time. It was very nice, very quiet. I didn't have a lot of stuff to do. I just
Lovely.
worked my other side gig and just stayed out of the
Nice.
fray, especially New Year's Day,
Nice.
because being in Times Square New Year's Day to work, I don't know how it was even possible. Like New Year's Eve, the New Year's Eve was insane. So I
New Year's
was
Eve
lucky
Eve
to,
was insane.
and then the next day, New Year's Eve, of course, forget it. We didn't have a show, so I wasn't downtown at all. And then New Year's Day to go back that evening and still see a whole lot of people. There was a
I
whole lot of folks
know.
still here.
I know.
So I'm kind of glad that that's tapered down a little.
I am too. No, listen, you know how I feel about New Year's Eve, about amateur hour in New York City. I mean, if
Ooh.
going to Times
Mm-mm.
Square and having a bunch of COVID cases cough on you for 3 hours and not having a
While you're,
bathroom available, yeah, to
oh
watch
my
people lip
God.
sync on Dick Clark, if that's your idea of a good time, Darwin explained it. Go enjoy. I just stay
We
away.
must
And
thin the herd.
New Year's Day is like the only federal holiday devoted completely to just football and hangovers. I don't understand anything about it, but I'm glad you're okay, and I'm glad you survived the cold
Yes.
snap over here. It was pretty brutal. Keith, I
Yeah.
got to tell you, I'm going to go see Strange Loop over the weekend. I'm excited. But I know a lot of shows
Yay.
are closing now, right?
Right. Well, actually, this week is the final week of Beetlejuice. It's the
Uh,
final week of Into the Woods. It's the
okay.
final week of 1776.
Oh wow.
So there's like at least three shows that are closing this weekend already. And there was just announced the extension to the collaboration that it was going to close, like I think in 2 weeks, and now it's going to stay open until the 5th of February. So
Oh, very nice.
there's
Okay.
so that gives us time for me to get you in so you can see that play.
Okay.
Um,
Thank you.
well, because I know people now. How you doing? But yeah, it's really it's a little bittersweet to see shows closing because that means there's going to be more people unemployed.
I know. Yeah,
It's like
it's true.
I won't ever get on Law and Order if there's all these Broadway actors keep getting taken off because they take those guys
But
first. So
is it fair to finally be able to say that Broadway's back, Keith? I mean, even with all the testing and the masks and what have you, that the theaters are filled, and even though shows are closing, that's very
mhm,
common after the holidays and tourist season and all that. I mean,
that's
can
true.
we say that Broadway's back?
I think we can say it's back, but it still keeps taking the hits because the what's it between Riverside and Crazy, that play that just opened was still in previews actually, with Common and
Oh yeah.
uh I forgot the guy from the Birds Lady Bird movie. Oh
Uh
my
huh.
God, Robert
Okay.
McKinley.
Mm-hmm.
But it announced 2 days that it's going to be shut down because of COVID. They had to
Oh
end for 2 days
no.
performances because of COVID. And it's also a little bittersweet over at Beetlejuice because the lead actor that's been playing Beetlejuice for these last, I don't know, 3 4 years, Alex Brightman, uh suffered a concussion backstage at the Christmas Eve show, which none of us knew about,
Oh,
and has been out since that time. And
oh
this
my.
last week, he's not going to be there. We're hoping he's going to show up, but he's not planned is scheduled to be there for the closing, which means that he doesn't get to close the show that he opened, which is
Wow. I
kind of
mean,
sad.
it's amazing seeing how just it was a year ago, right? Less than a year ago that we
Hmm.
saw Daniel Craig went to Broadway to play Macbeth, and then he got COVID. Matthew
And he got
Broderick
COVID.
was doing Plaza Suite by Neil Simon with his wife SJ. He
Yeah.
got COVID. I mean,
And a
you
couple
know,
other people in the cast got COVID too because of that.
that's
And
right.
and the show's kind of tried to go on as best as they can. And again, the big homage that everybody has is God bless the understudies and the standbys, because without
Mm-hmm.
those people, like if honestly, if we didn't have the understudies that we have and the standbys that we have, that show would have closed easily when they announced the concussion, because
Well,
it's
I think it's
tough.
fair to say that if Kevin McCarthy were a Broadway musical, that he might not have made it past the New Haven tryouts. Keith, I mean, it's been a crazy couple of days. I've been dying to talk with
What?
you about what we've been witnessing. I want to play a little clip.
What?
Little clip. This is now the number 3 Democrat in the House, Representative Pete Aguilar of California. Earlier today, he reminded us that this modern GOP, they've always been very clear about their intentions. Give a listen to this.
This is who they are. Crisis, confusion, disarray. It's unfortunate that that's what the modern day, House Republican conference looks like. But we knew that. We knew that going in to this, and they've delivered exactly who we thought they were in that respect. It's unfortunate, as the vice chair mentioned, this is going to start to impact, operations, of the House moving forward. We want to find that common ground. We hope that there are Republicans that we can work with in the future, but this is the key organizing principle of Congress, which is the first item of business before our members can take their oaths.
Yeah, I mean, he's right, and again, I got to stop calling them fascists, Keith, because they don't actually believe in anything.
Anything. You know what I find fascinating about this whole process is that they are intentionally going through this process in front of us, unveiling all of the disarray and all of the lack of unity that they've had as a group, which we've all noticed because, they've managed to separate themselves like really bad. What is that? The oil thing when the top goes to the cream and the milk. You know what I mean? Like they've
You're right. Yeah.
separated themselves very much away from that, and not being the cream that rises to the top. What they, what has risen to the top is a lot of crap. And what
I
has
hear you.
happened is that this whole back and forth that they're doing and delaying the actual business of this country is, I think, also part of their plan to destroy democracy, because
That's right.
this is something this has not happened in what, over 100 and something years.
Not
And
like
they
this.
just,
No.
it's not like this. And then you have this going on, and at the same time you got that Santos character sitting up there just like waiting for whatever it is that he's waiting on. And I don't understand how this person has managed to get this far
You
with
don't?
nothing but lie. Well, no, but
You
with nothing
don't
but
understand it?
lies. I don't
I grew up
understand
on
it
Long
because,
Island. I grew up around Long Island Republicans. I'm not surprised by any of this.
but aren't you surprised though that they would spend the time and energy putting this person through the process? Because again, if all of this information is just falling out of the sky now, that means all this information had been around and nobody bothered to do any deep investigation. So
Yes.
if no one has done any deep investigation upon these candidates that are running for these offices, and then we have this barrage of foolishness that keeps falling out of their closets, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
why are we allowing them to go through the process? Like, even the Republicans of some sort of actual merit and some sort of complete understanding of what the political process is about would have a lot to say. Like, there should be a whole like slate of Republican representatives saying we cannot seat this person.
You're right.
Like,
You're right.
listen, we are
But
fucking
they can't do
treacherous.
that. They won't do it. They won't.
Well, they
You
won't
know
do
why?
it. They won't,
He
because they
promised
need
Kevin
them.
McCarthy his vote, and guess what? He told the truth to Kevin McCarthy. He didn't lie. He voted for him.
He
Keith,
voted for him.
we have a lot of people on hold. Do you want to talk to some of our evil army tonight?
Sure,
Okay,
sure.
Riffraff. When we get to your call, I'm going to ask you to please make your point or your joke or your question or your threat as tight as possible. Ken is calling from Ohio. Ken, hello and welcome. You're on Sirius XM.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thank you.
I'm a full disclosure. I'm an independent.
Okay, me too.
I'm very conservative.
Okay.
And I listen to left-wing radio far more than I listen to right-wing radio, because I don't need to hear the right-wing stuff. Because I already know it, right?
I know.
I'm
Me too.
way more interested in what y'all are saying. So
well, thank you. Yeah, me too.
Disclosure.
But I listen to a lot of both, to be honest with you, and I watch a lot of Fox News. I listen to a lot of right-wing radio as well. But I agree with you. I hear more interesting ideas I haven't heard before on progressive talk.
Okay, yeah, and well, in my opinion, Fox News isn't even very right. It's very.
No, I think Fox News is pro-Republican Party. I also think MSNBC is pro-Democratic Party. I don't really view that channel as being liberal. They sure don't talk about organized labor at all.
Okay, well, the majority of Fox News can't stand Trump. If you actually watch Fox
I know.
News.
Oh, but
anyway,
they can't stand Trump.
But they can't stand Trump
power.
now.
They can't stand Trump now. But no, but
now.
I don't think Hannity or Tucker ever respected him. They know what a racist slug he is, but they like the power. They rode the wave.
Trump's not racist. But anyway, let me get to my point. I mean, we could talk about that if you want. You're not going to have enough time for me because, I mean,
what do you mean?
The three of us could talk for 4 hours. But
I know. We talk about what? How Trump's not racist?
My main topic was going to be war.
Please tell me about war.
I'm trying to figure out the Democrat Party because it seems like I'm in my late 50s, so I was a kid, and I would have been an absolute Democrat. I think I would have been an absolute JFK style Democrat. I think.
Okay.
But anyway, how can
what's stopping you?
How can the left agree with this proxy war and pretending that this corrupt Ukraine is our ally and sending them?
Let's not pretend they are our ally. Ukraine is our ally. I mean, I got it respectfully, Ken. Well, sure they are. They have been. They are. And respectfully, they are officially our ally. Donald Trump was arming them. Presidents of both parties, Congresses of both parties have armed Ukraine. They are our ally. And I get where you're coming from, but I don't think it's pro-war at all. I grew up with hearing conservatives talk about freedom and willing to fight to protect liberty. I grew up hearing that Neville Chamberlain was really bad because appeasement more or less gave Hitler permission to do more invading. And so I don't like this war at all. But what I don't like more than this war is doing nothing while Vladimir Putin commits mass slaughter, rape, and genocide of civilian populations. Okay. That's a bigger problem for me.
In my opinion, when the news media, whether you're watching MSNBC or Fox News or Newsmax, they're all showing the same thing, and they're all in agreement with what you just said.
Yeah, I get that.
Opinion, let me just give you my opinion real quick.
Please.
I think Vladimir Putin, he's not a good guy, but
Correct.
Vladimir Putin is doing exactly what he said he was going to do in his speech from back in February. This is not a war. He is not trying to take over Ukraine. He is focused on the Donbass region and pretending that
now he's fallen back. He's fallen back. They were bombing the Zaporizhia power plant.
Of Putin bombing animal shelters and bombing apartment buildings. I just saw on Fox News yesterday a guy walks out in his robe, in his blue robe, and he's like, "What's going on out here?" And you got the first responders putting out this fire because supposedly drones were bombing this Ukrainian.
So what are you saying?
Neighborhood. That's complete BS.
What is complete BS? That civilians are being slaughtered by the thousands in Ukraine for the last 10 months?
No, that Putin's doing it.
Putin is doing
That's
it.
That's the BS.
My friend.
This is propaganda nonsense.
Listen, here's what I'll agree with you on. I will tell you this. I will tell you what I always say when a Republican has a new war going on. a lot of these channels, these news organizations are owned by companies that make weapons, like Westinghouse or General Electric. So I will always talk about how the media is always pro-war, and I won't believe the media is ever anti-war until I see peace activists on it all the time, because war is great for ratings. But this is something that's not committing American troops to ground combat. I'm sorry, but Vladimir Putin is a very bad guy and a murderer, and he massacred 50,000 Chechens 20 years ago and had 14,000 Russian troops slaughtered. He is everything that Hitler was, minus the anti-Semitism, I think. And this is everything that we talk about: freedom and liberty and protecting our allies and stopping authoritarian madmen from just committing genocide. I got to part with you on this. I hate war. I don't trust the media war industrial complex one bit. And if they try to put American troops on the ground, I won't agree with it. But we have to do something to push back on this. I've seen too many footage, and I know people in Ukraine. I know people who are on the fighting right now. So I got to part ways with you, Ken. But I hope you'll call back. Keith, can you stay with us? You want to add anything onto that, Keith? You're smarter than me. We'll take a break. I want to get your thoughts when we come back. All right, we'll be right back in a second. This is Progress.
Tell Me Everything with John Fugelsang.
And welcome back. Keith Price.
Yes, sir.
You stayed out of that one, didn't you? You
I
stayed
sure
out of
did,
that
honey.
little scrap there.
I did, because I'm too old and too tired to be trying to get people to understand that you really are thinking like an idiot. When you tell me that you're an independent and then you're going to be conservative, and then you espouse the things that you espouse, good luck with that, honey. Just good luck. And know that when I'm talking to John, I'm learning every day to have the patience of a John Fugelsang / Job. But I'm not there yet. So all I can say to all of those people, don't bring any of that shit to me, because I'm just going to tell you where it's at. And if you don't like it, that's too bad. Because honestly, if you can sit here and tell me that you don't think Putin's a bad guy, we got nothing. Where are we going to go with that? Where am I going to try to intellectualize around all that to make you feel like you're not as dumb as you sound? But that's okay.
By the way, I want you to know something, Keith.
I
got to be honest with you. I don't have the patience of Job. I'm a masochist. That's why I do it. I just raise Catholic. Just get off on self-abuse. Get off on self-abuse. Keith Price, how do our listeners follow you and keep up with all your doings?
Well, they can follow me at Comedy Daddy on the Twitter, and KeithPriceComic.com. And also, too, if you check out on the podcast, I was bringing back the fact that Beetlejuice is closing this week, and I listed my interviews that I did with the entire cast on the original Beetlejuice before it got shut down. So check that out when you got time. Bubba.
Thank you so much. Brilliant. Hey, Keith, it's great to see you. Happy New Year.
You too,
I want to thank all of our guests tonight, including Victor Shi, of course, and thanks to everyone who called. Chris and Thea are the best producers in the world. I'm really sorry if we didn't get to your calls. Please call me back tomorrow. I have all your names written down. We'll take your calls first. We'll be back in 24 short hours. Keep it tuned to Progress. I'm John Fugelsang. Peace.